What's up, everybody? Welcome to You Wager This Week, powered by YOUWAGER.EU. I am Gabriel Morency. Let's do this thing. Hard to believe, but when we wrap up Monday night's football game, we're already going to be a quarter way through the National Football League regular season. So you know what? These games are starting to count right now. So YOUWAGER.EU. Check it out. You know you're going to wager this week, so why not wager over at YOUWAGER.EU? And as I logged on to my YOUWAGER account this morning, I see that they have a new promo coming. Build your own prop. Wow. Build your own props. That sounds like build your own pizza, build your own burger, build your own anything sounds cool, but build your own bets, build your own props. That's something that I'm very intrigued about, YOUWAGER. So I can't wait to see what that's all about. I'm also very excited about the 5% juice when you're laying it down on those big Friday night college football games. And we've got a big one this week with USC and Washington State. My boy, the Raging Redhead, Cam Stewart, will join me on Friday's edition of YOUWAGER This Week. Earlier in the week, we like to kick back and just sort of kick the tires on the NFL lines, give you some early thoughts, some early leans maybe if you've got itchy fingers and you want to click away right now. So let's take a look at the lines, starting off with the Thursday night contest. Green Bay Packers, son of a bitch, man. I thought the Cincinnati Bengals could beat the Packers this past Sunday, and, you know, they could have. My angle was right. You know, unfortunately, Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton. I think Tony Romo's doing a great job as an analyst on TV right now, and he really pointed out Andy Dalton's faults. You know, the naked eye, when a quarterback just hands a football off and a running play goes nowhere, to the naked eye, you know, that's just a running play that went nowhere. But Tony Romo so eloquently pointed out, you know, Andy Dalton's got to call an audible because that running play had no hope in hell in working. That's the type of stuff that Romo's bringing to the table, and I like it. And that's the type of stuff that Dalton brings to the table, which I don't like. But I actually do like the Bengals once again this week, but we'll get to that momentarily. So the Packers and the Bears, I don't know. YOUWAGER right now, Packers are at even 7-point favorites. Money line's minus 345. The total is 45.5. The Bears pay plus 265 on the money line. You know, Bears are getting a lot of respect here from the odds makers. Packers historically have beaten the crap out of this football team. Rodgers absolutely owns the Bears. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, who the coach is. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have owned them 15-5 last 20 games. I think they're like 14-6 against the point spread in this run as well. Yeah, they cover, and they cover a lot. I'm not in a hurry to take the Chicago Bears here. And I think the Green Bay Packers are probably a pretty solid survivor pick. I don't see Mike Glennon beating Aaron Rodgers on the road. Chicago Bears aren't the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals have a lot of talent. The Bears are doing this with smoke and mirrors. John Fox is a great coach. I'll give Coach Fox credit, but we saw the Bears struggle on the road against Tampa. I'm not saying they're going to get shut out here or anything like that, but I'm not ready to take the underdog, and you know me. I like to take underdogs in the NFL. I can't do it in this spot. All right, we're going back to London again, boys. God, I hate these London games. I like them and I dislike them. It all depends on whether I win my bet, I guess. You know, it's cool. You know, there's nothing wrong with football at 9:30 in the morning on the East Coast. But at the same point in time, it freaking sucks, man, if you lose. And, you know, 1 o'clock games haven't already kicked off yet. You're already down $500. It's not a fun time. Not a fun time. And yes, I was on Baltimore last week. This is a tricky game, this one. New Orleans Saints are like 2.5 against the Dolphins. If you think about the Dolphins' scheduling situation, it's been murder, man. It's been pretty tough for the Miami Dolphins. They had the hurricane. It's hard to keep up with which freaking hurricane it was. Was it Harvey or Irma? Maria. I think it was Irma. So anyways, they were displaced from Miami. They had their game canceled, of course. They didn't play in week 1. They set up shop in California. They beat the Chargers, but then they went back home for the first time in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then they went to New York, in which they lost. Now they have to go to London. This is going to start to catch up to these guys. Not to mention, the Miami Dolphins don't have a bye week. You know, the Dolphins and the Bucs, the only two teams that don't have a bye week because they couldn't figure out how to reschedule that game any other way without taking their bye week away because they both had a bye week in week 11. So that's going to catch up to these teams. It might just sabotage their season when it's all said and done, actually. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers better win on Sunday, but we'll get to that. This Dolphins-Saints game, so Saints are 2.5, minus 150 on the money line, plus 130 money line for the fish. 49.5 is your total. Odds makers are expecting a higher scoring football game. I don't know, man. The Saints haven't been like an over machine or anything like that this year, as we've seen. So what? The Saints have played 3 games. They played against the Vikings. Offense struggled. Played against the Patriots. Offense somewhat struggled. Kind of got it on back on track last week, but it's really the defense. Now, Willie Snead comes back. I really think that's going to help the New Orleans Saints. You know, this is Jay Cutler versus Drew Brees. They're similar football teams. You know, Jay Ajayi, I don't know, is he injured? He didn't have a great game last week. They say he's okay. It's a tough football game, this game. If I had to bet it, I'd take the Saints. I think the Saints are going to go on a little bit of a run right now. I think the Saints were better. I think the Saints were better than their record indicated. I think the Saints go on a little bit of a run right now. It was a tough schedule spot for the Saints to start the season. Most teams would lose on a Monday night in Minnesota. Most teams would lose hosting the New England Patriots. And so it's not like they were terrible 0-2. I think the Saints can win this football game. Don't love it, but I think they can win this game. Carolina Panthers. Right now, the Patriots are even 9-point favorites over at YOUWAGER. Patriots got a real freaking scare, and so did Survivor players last week against the Houston Texans. Houston actually, Deshaun Watson can run around a little bit. Cam Newton can't run around. Cam Newton also doesn't have a lot of weapons to work with. Kelvin Benjamin, I don't think he's going to play. I don't think there's been any official update or anything like that, but I don't think Kelvin Benjamin's going to play in this game. They don't have Greg Olsen. Their weapons, if everybody's healthy on the Panthers, they've got some weapons on offense, but starting to catch up to them right now, and their 2 best weapons besides Cam Newton are out in Olsen and Benjamin. Kind of a problem. Patriots laying 9, total 49. We mentioned the money lines, minus 450 and plus 350. Wow, the Rams are down to 6.5 right now. And this upsets me because this is actually a football game that I've had my eye on since these numbers came out on Monday night because, of course, the Cowboys played on Monday night. The Cowboys beat the Cardinals, but they didn't look great doing it. All the talk about the Cowboys' offensive line being the best offensive line in football all the time, yeah, it was. It's not right now. And, you're not betting on the past. You're betting on what's happening right now. And I'll tell you what's happening right now. Sean McVay's got this LA Ram team believing in themselves. And, you can talk about believing all you want. The fact of the matter is, winning in the NFL comes down to talent. And you know what else is a fact? That the Rams have talent. We saw Sammy Watkins start to get involved right now. We know they have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the football. Jared Goff has looked great through 3 weeks. I know they played a road game last week. The Thursday nighter was on the road at San Francisco. But half-empty stadium, interstate game, not really a true road game. This is a true road game for the Rams going to Texas right now to take on the Cowboys. They're getting 6.5 points. They're plus 227 on the money line. Over-under is 47.5. We've seen a trend of teams that lose on Thursday night or even play on Thursday night to get that rest and that break. They've performed well after the extended rest so far this year. We'll go over that later in the week when we nail down our picks for you. We've only got 20 minutes here, guys. If we give you every damn trend, I'll be here for 2 hours. But I like the Rams in this game, down to 6.5. I think the Rams can compete. I think the Rams match up physically very well with the Dallas Cowboys. And I'll tell you what, the Dallas Cowboys have never been a great home favorite. Over the years, especially in this new stadium. It's too country club-like. I don't know. It's a nice stadium, but teams aren't intimidated when they go there. You're asking the Cowboys to win a game, fine. They win a game. But are they going to win a game by 7 points? What's amazing to me is this stuff opened up at 8.5, briefly on Monday night. And I'm not alone in liking the Rams here, down to 6.5 right now, evidently. All right, here's an interesting football game. in the AFC South. The Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. You know, the Titans, I'm having a hard time reading the Titans, all right? I've been wrong every week with the Titans. I'll admit it. There's some teams I've been right with throughout the entire year, and there's other teams where I can't read, and I'm having a hard time with the Titans. I picked them to beat the Raiders in week 1. Didn't happen. Picked the Jags to beat the Titans in week 2. Didn't happen. Last week, I thought the Seahawks were going to go into Tennessee and beat them. Didn't happen. I'm 0-3 here, guys, so take this pick with a grain of salt. Either you can say to yourself right now, damn, man, Morency doesn't know what the hell he's talking about with the Tennessee Titans, or Morency's due to catch a break with the Tennessee Titans here. I like the Houston Texans in this game. I like the Texans. I like the way the Texans played last week against the New England Patriots. I think Deshaun Watson's only going to get better on a weekly basis. I think, I don't believe in moral victories, but I believe that hanging around and nearly beating the Patriots and scoring 33 points like that gives the Texans confidence moving forward. We all knew the Texans' schedule was tough out of the gate. Going to Cincinnati on a Thursday night are not easy early in the season. They won the football game. Nobody expected them to beat the New England Patriots. They were getting 14 points. Now the schedule is going to even out for the Texans, and I think they can go on a little bit of a run. This is only the Texans' second home game. The first home game was after all that Hurricane Harvey stuff. J.J. Watt raising all the money. There was distractions. Don't forget, the Houston Texans didn't play their final preseason game. And I know the starters weren't going to play anyways, but I'm just talking about the whole routine and the whole rhythm. The Texans were taken out of the routine and their rhythms. Even their practice routines and rhythms. Now I think they're back in a rhythm. They're back home right now. It's almost a mulligan. It's almost a mulligan after playing so poorly in that home opener. I would expect the Texans to come out and play a very good game. We'll see if the Titans are for real. Titans go on the road and win this game. They're 3-1. They're probably going to win a division. It's that big of a football game right now. And if you're the Houston Texans, you cannot afford. You can't go 1-3. You need to win this football game. You can't let the Titans go. Maybe if you're the Texans and you were 1-3. And, it would be all right, but not if it's not if it's the Titans that are doing it to you in the division. You're 1-3, they're 3-1. You're in a lot of freaking trouble. And as I stated, it feels early in the season right now, but we're at the quarter-way mark this Sunday. All right, the Jacksonville Jags, don't look now, but the Jags are 2-1. For the record, the total is 44 in this Titans game. So, yeah, the Texans are plus 1.5, plus 105 on the money line, 44. Titans are minus 125, minus 1.5. I do like the Houston Texans in this game. The Jags and the Jets, this is interesting. Before the year started, everybody pointed out this football game is a game that the Jets were going to be able to win. Now, I was amongst the masses that thought the Jets could go 0-16 this year. But I was also amongst the masses that told you the Jets could beat the Dolphins last week. To me, even though the Jets were 0-2 and they were 0-2 against the spread, the Jets actually didn't look that bad to me. They competed with the Buffalo Bills. I had the Bills. I was sweating it out. They competed with the Raiders, man. That game was closer than the final score indicated. I thought that the Jets were ready to break loose, and they did at the Dolphins' expense. Now they get the Jags in here. So what's crazy about this game is either the Jacksonville Jaguars, if they win, they're going to be 3-1. And if the Jets win, they're going to be 2-2. Neither results in which anybody expected. Anybody expected. Nearly dropped an F-bomb there. I guess I could, but, YOUWAGER is a family business. Think about that. The Jags are going to be 3-1 if they win. The Jets will be at 2-2 if they win. Wow. All right, so Jags laying 3, minus 170 on the money line, plus 150 on the money line for the New York Jets. Total is 39.5. I like the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll lay to 3 points. YOUWAGER has the Bengals at 3, minus 180 on the money line, over under 40. Browns pay plus 158 back on the money line if you like the home team. How about this? So I told you guys last week I like the Colts. The Browns, they're 1-19 in their last 20 road games. Well, now make it 1-20 in their last 21. So even as a whole, though, now they're back home. The Browns are 0-13 in their last 13 division games. I think they're 1-12 against the spread in that run. Like, they don't win. They don't cover. It's a modest number. The Cincinnati Bengals aren't a horrible team. They've had bad luck to start the season. The new offensive coordinator makes a big difference for them. Once again, no moral victories. But if you're the Bengals, you feel better about things. You were real flat. Everything was terrible. You went to Green Bay. You coulda, shoulda. You didn't beat them. The thing is, if you're 0-3, you only have a 2% chance of making the playoffs. But let's look at the division that the Bengals are in right now. The Ravens got off to a nice start, but the Ravens suck, okay? The Ravens are terrible. And the Ravens, when it's all said and done, how many games are the Ravens going to win? Pittsburgh Steelers? Okay. Steelers are the team to beat in this division, yet Steelers are not... the Steelers are not invincible, as we're finding out this year. The Steelers are a beatable football team. So I think if you're Cincinnati, you're thinking, you know what, we win this game, we get a division win under our belt. And we can get back on track. We control our own destiny. We play the Steelers. We're going to play against the Steelers. We play against the Ravens again. We're going to get another game with the Browns. So Cincinnati, I think, is this 1-0-3 team. I think the Giants are screwed. But I think Cincinnati at 0-3 go into this game thinking, it's not over, guys. We can salvage this. But we need to win this game. I think they do win this game. And I expect Joe Mixon to bust loose. Speaking of the aforementioned Steelers, they got caught up in that protest stuff, man. Ben Roethlisberger admitted after on Monday that he couldn't sleep at all on Saturday night. Their focus wasn't on the Chicago Bears. It was more on the protests. And I respect everyone's right to protest. I respect people's right to not like the freaking protest. I think people are overreacting on both sides here. And I just said, like I said all week, man, the only thing I'm protesting is the crap-ass play calling of the offensive coordinators in the NFL. Terrible. Terrible. Steelers and Ravens, I don't know about this game. It's a tough one. Ravens were so bad in London, they'll probably bounce back. The Steelers are hard to trust. The home team generally wins this game. But I'll tell you, Baltimore have owned Pittsburgh as of late. They've beaten 4 out of the last 5 times they played outright. Steelers lay 3, totals 41.5. Steelers money line -160. My Buffalo Bills are getting 8 points against Atlanta. I tell you, this Bills defense is elite, man, but they're going to be hard-pressed to stop Atlanta for 60 minutes. Falcons are -400 on the money line. Bills +310, total 48.5. New York Giants are freaking terrible. And McAdoo's going to get fired if things keep on going the way they do. Same with Marvin Lewis. If he doesn't beat the Browns, he's probably going to get fired. Giants and Bucks. Bucks laying 3. The Bucks have been underachievers as well. This is a big football game. The loser of this game is not going to be in a good situation. In the standings, they're not going to be in a good situation. In their psyche, they're not going to be in a good situation. And the coaches aren't going to be in a good situation. Eagles and Chargers, speaking of bad situations, this Chargers situation is a real bad one. It's not a home field. It's like an away field, depending on who comes to town. I don't know how many Eagle fans are going to be there, but I know they don't have any Charger fans there. Chargers laying 1, hard to lay points with this team, although I think they're going to get it done. Totals 47.5. They're not going to lose every game. Broncos. Broncos are only 2.5-point favorites in this game against the Raiders. Both teams coming off of losses, but the Raiders were embarrassed on Sunday night. I think the price is short here. I don't think Trevor Siemian gets enough respect. Broncos -2.5 on their home field. Pretty fair. Total 46.5. I lean with the Broncos. The Sunday Nighter is pure torture and hell. Indianapolis Colts are getting 13 right now over at YOUWAGER against the Seahawks. +650 on the money line if you're looking for an upset special. Seahawks are 10-1 on the money line. The total is 41.5. It's an ugly freaking game, but I think the Seahawks can hang around and cover just because it's hard to justify Seattle pulling away from anybody right now. And finally, in closing, we got a little line movement. The Chiefs were laying 7 all week to the Skins. Now it's down to 6.5. Totals 49. Dun, 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 dun. Monday Night Football. Chiefs are -275 on the money line. Redskins +235. Thing with Kirk Cousins is the guy looks awesome one week. He looks like Aaron Rodgers one week, and he looks like Mike Glennon the next. So last week he looked like Aaron Rodgers, which means this week he's probably going to look like Mike Glennon. That's the thing with the Redskins. The Chiefs might be the best team in football, as crazy as that sounds. The Chiefs are a dynamic football team right now, man. Kareem Hunt's all the difference in the world. It's going to be a fun game. I'm leaning with the Kansas City Chiefs right now and laying the points. Sort of a close game, and then late Kareem Hunt pops a big run or something like that. Okay, so as I mentioned off the top of this podcast, Check out YOUWAGER.EU. And hey, you wager. I can't wait to see what all this build your own props are about. I see I logged on. Build your own props coming soon. I like the sound of that, and I know my boy, the Raging Redhead, Cam Stewart's going to like the sound of that. And you'll like the sound of me and him this Friday locking down some picks. We'll give you some college picks as well. So check it out, guys. YOUWAGER. You need multiple accounts. You got to go shopping for lines. They got 5% juice. They got great sign-up bonuses. Just go over to sportsrage.org, my official website. Click the link. Tell them Sports Rage sent you if you're going on your own. Promo code Sports Rage. It's a great book. A lot of different options. Crazy teasers if you're into the sweetheart teasers. Put it this way. There's nothing you're looking for that YOUWAGER doesn't have, guys. So check it out. It's a great book. 18 years running. A grade from Sportsbook Review and all the other graders out there. So, hey, we'll see you guys on Friday. As far as Thursday night's game is concerned, I'm going to lay the points with the Packers, and I'll be teasing this game to the over. We'll see you guys on Friday's edition of YOUWAGER this week. Other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours.